Good morning, 6th of December today. Oh, I don't know. Let's take it off while I'm inside. Today, 6th of December, Wednesday, we're going to go in about half an hour to some wildling thing for Lila. I booked it in advance. I'm there for the mud kitchen. Gotta be honest. I love a mud kitchen. I'm sitting on the floor in my bedroom, hiding from the noise of Peppa Pig because, copyright thing on videos. Anyway, I am plugging away on this. A good portion has had the ends woven in, let me tell you. I thought, every couple of colours I'll just weave in a few ends. Did I? No, I did not. And then I got halfway through the scarf and I looked at it and my heart just sank. Some people don't mind weaving in ends. I think it's very common that people hate it. And I hate it. So there we go. And this is the scarf. It just keeps on giving. Look. I'm showing you the back side as well, which is not quite as nice. Anyway. I found it actually very dorky researching into this project because I thought I think it's the 1970s, whoever this doctor is, I don't know which doctor this is, one of them wore this long scarf. My dad used to like this doctor as a little boy, and he was knitted a very, very long scarf, not in the right colours, but he told me that he thought he was, so cool because he had this super long scarf. It was probably just an adult scarf and he was just a very tiny little boy, but anyway. I thought that this particular doctor, wore one scarf. Not true. This scarf has evolved throughout the series of when it was worn. It started off as one scarf, and then they took out, there's like a large grey portion that they then decided that they didn't want in it anymore, so then they removed this grey portion. And then it was cut, and when they stitched it back together, they didn't have all of the right side. They had some of the wrong, they'd done it the wrong way round. So half was this way, and then where it was joined, it was then this way. So you can see the joins. And it kind of changed over time. So throughout the series, it did change. Also, I read into the history of the scarf, and it wasn't intentionally meant to be as long as it was. From my research, apparently it was meant to be long, but not. If you have a look at the picture, it's on the floor all the way up, wrapped around multiple times, and then all the way to the floor again. Apparently the woman got sent the yarn and was knitting the scarf, and then she got sent some more yarn and just thought, they want it long, and she just kept going. I think she even got a third parcel or something, and this one just kept going. I love that. Obviously, I don't know if that's true. I've not spoken to the actual person that did the scarf, but that's what my research showed. So I found this picture on Pinterest, and it had a list of maybe 8 films where this exact formatting, starting with this colour, the exact number of rows for each colour as they progress. It was all listed on this picture. It's got different rows and there's all the different lines of colours, and it says how many, it says actually how many lines there would be, so you have to double it for your rows, but then it's easy just to count. That's actually 8 rows, but you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 pearl bumps on the right side, so I do it by the pearl bumps. And I became a real dork about it. I wanted to do, I kind of didn't expect to do an exact replica. I thought I would do something along the lines of, but then the more I researched into it, I allocated way too much time. This is one of those things where you start looking into it and you just disappear into the ether of research. I saw some people had made just kind of almost costume versions where they just used more or less the right colours and just whacked some stripes in. didn't look the same. So I ended up with this, and I am happy with it. I looked online for a kit, all the colours were included, 6 or 7 colours, whatever. Very inexpensive to buy the kit. It was just a ball of each colour in this Stylecraft DK. That's the one I'm currently working on. And it's going really well. At first I was slightly disappointed with the colours because I thought, oh, they're that little bit brighter. But firstly, they are more fun, that little bit brighter, especially for a young boy. And if you look at 1970s photography and videography, everything's got this slight sepia film to it. It's slightly desaturated, kind of a filter. That's just the way that the photography was at that time. If you have a look at old pictures, you can sometimes see what decade photography is from just by looking at the picture, like by the colours and the quality of the film. And so everything will have looked that little bit duller in the pictures anyway. So the pictures I looked at were slightly duller. And so in real life it would have been brighter, that is certain. Because the pictures, even I can tell his skin tone, his hair colour, his jacket, it's all that little bit more muted. So I think we're on point with these colours. I'm very, very happy with it. It's just that it's taking ever such a long time. You can see all woven in. Look, all woven in, all woven in. I think it took me one evening to weave it in, but I was a belligerent little girl as I was doing it. Every time I had to weave in another one. So I think it will have taken me over 100 hours. I think it's already taken me over 100 hours. It's so long. He's going to love it. He knows he's getting it. Anyway, I thought I'd better show that to you. It is beautiful. And I would recommend this yarn before. Maybe I have used it in the past. I don't remember. But the colour's beautiful. It's very, very soft. He's going to love it. I think I'll insist he opens it on Christmas Eve. And then when we go out somewhere fancy, we're going to go out for a cocktail, I think, and all dress up, he can wear this with his waistcoat and look very dapper indeed for a little young lad. I mean, he's 13, so he's such a sweet little boy. I'll get him probably, I asked him what his favourite chocolates are. He said he likes a crunchy and a whisper. So I'm going to need to, when I do my next food shop, put a few aside. I've been using this circular needle just so that there's not loads of cord flapping about and I don't knit with straight needles. So there we go. Oh, get that out of the way. I've been allocating myself to try and do 3 colours a night at the moment because I've got a few other knitting projects to do for gifts and they just need to get done. And as much as I am enjoying that, I'm feeling the time pressure now. I need an elf on the shelf to start doing my knitting in the night times. While I'm sleeping, we can do shifts. And we'll take you upstairs. Let's have a quick look. I found, let me take my finger off the microphone. I found like a little tutorial on how to do these handprint ornaments, and so I'll show you where I've got to. I would have recorded it, but to be honest, I was expecting mayhem as I was doing it, and I thought that would be embarrassing to show you. But it was fine. I put Lila to watch Peppa Pig, and I pushed her hand into some air dry clay, and then I cut around the edges with scissors and just smoothed it off with a wet finger around the edges, and then popped a little hole in it. So they're going to be Santa's. This is going to be his face. The fingers will be his beard. And then this is going to be his hat with a little, probably a little thing on the end. I've turned them upside down because they're drying really nicely on the top, but the bottom is really still wet, so there we have it. That was all left over from the kit. And let me take you over. Sorry, ignore my awful stained carpet. And Jason's still waiting for someone to do his laundry. It's all clean, it's just waiting to be ironed. Yeah, so these are all of my houses. I've turned these ones over as well to get some air on the back because they are still completely soft. This room is very cold. So these need to completely dry through. I've brought them onto Jason's desk while he's not home so they can get a bit of sunlight. And I think they're beautiful. I think I've done a really good job. You can see by the edges, this is one of the earlier ones that I did. It's not perfect on that where the edge of the roof joins the base. Whereas if you compare it to one of the ones from yesterday, it's joined much better around the edge. Much smoother. No one is going to notice that but me. But still, it's nice to let you know. So, yes, I know. You shouldn't handle them when they're still partially wet, but there we are. Blooming gorgeous. I definitely could have done, how many have I got there? 4, 5, 6, 7. So I've done 7, which is what it says. It says up to 7 ornaments on that kit. And I've got 7 of these plus, sorry, messy room again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of these. So I could have definitely done at least another 2 more. Oh. So some of these have turned out better than others. But I thought for just for a few special individuals, just anyone who I think Lila would like to have one, we'll have one of those. I think that's a really special gift, and I'll show you the painting of those later. Anyway, I better go get ready to go and be nice to Dad and Mums. When I go to these mum things, I am a bit odd. Not on purpose, just by accident. I always take part in all of the songs and sing, I think, a bit too loudly, and I do all the actions a bit too involved, and I think I just behave a little bit silly and strange. All the other mums have always come to talk to me and seem to be fine with me, but I wonder if I come across as really bizarre. I do know I'm a bit bonkers, by the way. My dad thinks I'm super sensible, which clearly means he doesn't know me at all. Can you imagine? He thinks I'm sensible. Yeah, that's just definitely not what I am. Anyway, all of that needs to dry. So I'm going to have to do something else today, but because I'm working, my time is more limited. I'll have like 1.5 to 2 hours instead of the full 4 hours of crafting. I might take a little bit of pattern cutting to work this out. I would love to wear that on Christmas Day and have a really pretty dress to wear on Christmas Eve, if the red satin comes on time. And then something on Boxing Day, see. I love having somewhere to go and planning an outfit. I just love it. And I'm having my hair cut at the weekend in one salon, and then a few days later I'm having it coloured in another salon, which is my idea of hell. I hate going to the salon. And I'm having to go twice because nowhere could accommodate such a long appointment with the two procedures. They're not procedures. Treatments? Whatever. A cut one, a colour in the other. And I've had to pay for a blow dry twice, and I hate having my hair blow dried. So that's fun. It's Christmas torture for me. I just hope it's going to end up nicely. When you go somewhere new, it's always a risk, and I'm going to 2 new places in a week. Ooh. Well, we'll have to see what happens, but it just needs a bit of I cut it myself. when it started falling out after I had a baby, after I had Lila, I like hacked a whole load of it off myself. Don't tell the hairdresser, she'll be mad. They get mad. Anyway, let's go. Let's go play with some children. I don't have quite enough time to do everything I wanted to do, but all of these arrived in the post. They're corners for photographs, and I love to use these. I have started this album already. I made one for my sister, so I will insert all the information after this quick chat about what I've done. But I made this for my Lila. It's got her name on it, and it's a photo album, and there's a couple of pictures in there, and these are the corners that I use. I've also put, oh no I haven't, on my sister's I put an envelope in the back for her to pop. I put a letter, and then I put an envelope on the front page. Okay, the problem I had is I had started to do the album, but I had stitched it on as tightly as is required for this Coptic bookbinding. But what I was getting was, it was so swollen with, just so full, it was just looked bad. I wouldn't have been able to fit my pictures in. So it's where you've got the spine, these are quite close. Now because I wanted to be able to fit two, and then a picture will slot into there. Now where I had one here and then one on the opposite page, it was just creating so much bulk because these are quite thick. What I've had to do is just unpick basically my sewing here, and I could have just binned one of these, which I'd started and filled too much with, but instead I took it apart and I dispersed those pages equally through the other ones where they already had the stickers attached. That made absolutely no sense. I'm so sorry. Anyway, basically I fiddled with my pages and I'm putting it back together. I'm going to now try and put these pictures that were in it back in it, and I'm also going to do a title page. I think that will be my first page. I think I'll just pop that one in as the first page. I think she was 6 weeks when I did her footprints, and then those were her first steps of 14 months. I think that's 6 weeks and I mean, look, so cute. They're definitely worth doing. That I did with a kit, which is like a no mess kit, and you peel this plastic layer off and they stand, or you press, because they're a baby, they can't stand, you press their foot or whatever into it, and when you peel away the plastic, it's imprinted some ink that was on the back. So it is good, but they're really one use. This I did with acrylic paint. Big mistake. Huge. My first step's 14 months. That one I have labelled. So I have also tried it recently with a little thing of ink, which I've used for making labels, and that's can be used on paper or on fabric. That worked such a treat. Yes, she did get messy hands, but it washed off. I just popped it on the pad. I think I had to move the pad around. Did her a handprint. It worked beautifully. Anyway, I'm just going to sit here and while away 1 hour before work doing this, and I will show you. My sister's presents arrived in Australia today. What a stressful experience trying to send presents abroad at the moment. But it arrived in Australia in, I think 1 week and 1 day. Or 1 week and 2 days. Can you at 7? 9 days. Wow. Wow. Anyway, I'm just going to start doing this, and I'll show you everything I made for my sister, and I will show you the process of making one of these albums, which I made the whole thing. And I'm hoping that Jason will really like this, to open this on Christmas Day. I did once make him an album of the cat, which he loved, but on Christmas Day he said, "Oh, that's lovely, thank you," and put it down. If I give you something like an album, you are obligated to read it on the spot, because I am so excited to see you look at it. The least you can do after all those hours is allow me the appreciation that you're going to give to it. Allow me to view it. That's what you owe me. Now, is it just me being selfish? I want to see you enjoy the gift. Look at all the pages. Let me enjoy watching you enjoy it. And he didn't. "Oh, thank you very much. I'll look at that later." You'll what? Even after he saw the expression, he still didn't pick it up and look at it. Honestly. Anyway, I'll leave you with that footage that I've done last month. I did it over quite a few days, so you'll see little bits of this one and the purple one that I did for my sister, just kind of alternated. So I'm sorry if there's any confusion about the two. I hope you enjoy that. I'll see you tomorrow. You'll have to excuse my mess of a desk there. I'm starting my Christmas present making early, and this one in particular is for my sister. She's in Australia, so it needs to be done soon. It needs to be sent out before December. So, this is a front cover for a photo album, and I've just glued the fabric with some craft glue onto a piece of backing board. This one is for my daughter, and the back is plain. I was going to maybe stitch my logo on, but I decided against it. It isn't 100% perfect. It ever so slightly blisters in like a few places, but I'm not going to worry about that. Anyway, mine was like the practice, and the back is done on that one. I've just used a quilting cotton, and I'm just going to do the front cover, which I finished recently. I've stitched the name in, and then because the print was so busy, I did the same on that one. I just outlined the name in white. So I'm just going to add a whole load of glue onto my backing board. That's the one I've used, and it's just from my local craft shop. £3.75. And I cut this to the right size, and I'm going to use the little cut off pieces to spread the glue. And then when this one gets all yucky and funny, I've got a few of these as cut offs, so I'm just going to spread the glue. I'm going to be quite generous, and I think I'm going to also just put some glue on the thread to try and stop any bubbling. I have cut them specifically to fit in these photos. Now, I'm not going to send photos for my sister because she will love putting that together, but these are Lila's ones. So there's like some pregnancy ones to start with, and then after she's born. I've already gone through these and put them in date order, so this is like the first year of her life. And the size is specifically enough to fit in 2 pictures. So I worked out the size. The paper leaves will be a little bit smaller than this, but I thought that they would fit just perfectly, and then with enough space to write notes underneath it if you want to write notes, or to centre it perfectly with the same space above and below. Here is a sample I made ages ago, just a plain one. It's Coptic bookbinding. I think it's Coptic, whatever, it'll be the title of the video, I suppose. And the nice thing I like about it is it lays completely flat. So for pictures that will be really nice, that you can open it completely flat, because some books, not specifically photo albums, but they kind of, you feel like you're cracking the spine by opening it too far. But this style, where there is no like spine, it's just the thread. There's no like fabric spine or paper spine, and it's really pretty. So this one I made in lockdown, and I haven't used it for anything. I thought I'd just do it as like a little scrapbook or poetry or something, but the edges are quite rough. I struggled with a craft knife to cut, so this time I'm going to try using a rotary cutter for the pages. Anyway, first things first is to get this one stuck on, and then I've got this lovely stack of books here, which is really heavy, and then that will weigh it down and make sure that there's no curling. And then when it's finished, I'll need to wrap it and weigh it down once the whole book is finished, because when I had first finished this book, I remember it really wanted to kind of spring open, but after having been weighed down for a while, put it flat, it does lay like pretty flat. It's not like 100%, but that has just been on my bookshelf standing up. It hasn't been weighed down for a long time, so maybe if I was to weigh it down properly for ages, it would go completely flat. But anyway, by the time that's got pictures in it, it will be lovely and splayed, like fanned out like this. And I used to do art, and all my sketchbooks, I loved it when they kind of concertinaed, I don't know, out like that on the edge. They felt like really fabulous. So I'm just going to glue that on and leave that for now. So I've finished my sister's back cover and popped on some plain paper, and she's got a front cover as well. Oh gosh, look at my shabby fleece. Roll those sleeves up. There we are. There's the back. It's just got a normal piece of paper glued on. And now I'm working on the, I don't know what you call these. But you make lots of these little books. I'm doing 4 sheets of paper folded in half, which is then 8 pages. 8 pages is 16 sides, so that would be one side, that would be one side, that would be one side. And then I would fit 2 pictures per page, so I'm having to fudge it a little bit. I bought, for the paper of the insides, I looked online and I found it really challenging. I don't know about weights of paper, so I went to Hobbycraft and I bought these massive books. They're A3 sketchbooks, 140 grams, and then there's the measurement there. So they were actually very affordable, really reasonably priced. I would buy these for myself for drawing, or even for my little Lila. I think she would enjoy drawing in these because they're a nice big size and the paper is thick enough without being like a heavy watercolour paper, so I'm happy with that. Anyway, in order to fit the right size, I thought that the length of this page cut to the right width of the book, folded in half, but that would mean that actually the pages were coming up 1.5 centimeters or so too short. So I'm having to use the actual spine, remove the staple from middle of the book, which were here. I've removed them, and then like using the already folded edge. Now that means for me, I could have cut just one per massive sheet and just cut it like slap bang in the middle, but that just feels super wasteful. I just can't bring myself to do that. So I'm ending up fitting 2 of these per page. And then you can already see I do have some waste along the top and the side, and the way that I cut it means that I actually end up with these short ones. I've got this like massive stack of these cut-offs, but do you know what? Those are the perfect shopping list size. So actually, I'm kind of not mad about that. Anyway, yeah, so the problem with using the spine of the original book is this. Now, I've decided not to care. You can see I've made sure they're all on one end, so this end they're all perfect, and then on this side is where the holes are. I might try filling them, I might not. Let's wait and see. I don't know, what do you think? Like a dab of acrylic paint in each one in white? I don't know. Pritt stick glue? I don't know if it matters. By the time it's like sandwiched between these, and then it's got like the pretty decorative stitching, I don't know if anyone would actually notice. Now my sister certainly would not. I can guarantee you that. She's not good at noticing these types of things. As long as the name is spelt right, which it is, I think we're good. Now I wish that it was this thick, to be honest. That looks so good. So thick and juicy. As thick and juicy as a book can be. But I'm dividing this amount of paper between Mia Rose and Lila. That one still needs its paper put in. That makes such a huge difference, doesn't it? Look at the difference in that, how gorgeous that looks. It's a little bit bubbly on the camera, but in person you just don't notice these things. But the camera is quite sharp and picks up. Anyway, I've been using this all to remove the staples without damaging any of the paper, and I will use it as well to poke the holes in the right places along the edge of the spine and in the cover. But anyway, for now I'm just stacking all of these up, and I've got a couple more to go. This is my last one. I will have used 3 full ones of these. I want to say they were £3. But when I was looking online, some of the sketchbooks were so expensive, like £10–20 each. I just could not be justifying that. But yeah, I am very happy. I'll be doing a happy dance after this. Anyway, I made sure that my desk is super clean and everything is super clean. So as I'm using this white paper, it's not getting blemishes. There are a few imperfections, almost as if this was a recycled paper, but I just decided not to care. That's part of the paper. So I can't see any now. But there we go. I'm looking forward to doing the stitching once this is done, but I think I'll leave that for another day. I've been trying to just get little bits and bobs done every day rather than like getting it all done at once. So let's see how many we can get. Just wanted to show you a few of the things that I made for my sister to send her for Christmas. So I finished her photo album. So I've got some of the board. Oh, so I had two of those out. Anyway, I'm gonna wrap it between two sheets of this board just to try and keep it flat. But anyway, yeah, so there we are, embroidered front cover, all stitched together in Coptic bookbinding. Anyway, don't think you can see it very well. You'll have to take my word for it. And the inside edges, we've got this beautiful paper, and then I've just popped in an envelope that I glued in. Just for any, I popped a note in there. A little pocket for any loose tickets or mementos. So yeah, it's just a plain envelope, and I just tucked the top of the envelope inside and glued it in, and I made sure that these two corners here weren't flappy, so I did glue those as well. Anyway, I don't know, cute little things. And then I've done her a little note in the back which drops down, and there is plenty of pages. Like, that is a lot of pages. Okay, this is the second time I've stitched the same book, because the first time I just felt like it was a little bit too, I don't know, like wobbly. Now it still is a little bit, like if I push the bottom corner and push this one up, there's that much wiggle room. Which I suppose with manufactured books you wouldn't have, but before it just felt wobbly, and that now that doesn't feel wobbly, that just feels just right. So I wasn't going to do it, but then I thought of all you lot watching it, and I thought, no, it's best to go back and do it. I was worried that because I'd be stitching in a second time into the same holes, that they would be a little bit loosey. So I just used some embroidery floss this time. The first time I used a pearl cotton, so it was a little bit thinner than this, and I used all stick strands, and that came out really well. Anyway, I'm very happy with it. I'm going to have to wrap this really well. I'm going to put this backing board front and back. I was sure I'd taken two out. Don't know what I've done with the other one. Oh wait, there it is. I'm making one for Lila as well, which I'm going to give to Jason for Christmas, with the pictures already in it, like a scrapbook. So I'm going to wrap that real tight, and I'm going to pop in a few of these scrap pieces of paper, which is the same paper inside, because if she wants to write any notes, I don't want it to bleed through the other side, so then she can just practice and then see if the pens that she's chosen will bleed through. That's not strictly necessary, but I thought that was a nice little touch to keep it lovely. What else did I do? Well, I've got a book here I wanted to show you. So I wanted to make her a little dress, so I bought this book a while ago, and I've made Lila a romper and a hat from it. So Adorable by Vanessa Moonsey. What a cool name. And at the front you've got all of the pictures. That was the one I made for Lila, but I made it without the peplum skirt part. I did it just with the shorts, and it was very beautiful. There's loads of stuff. Fairy rings, there's a doll, there's little knickers, dungarees. Anyway, equally good for girls and boys, but a little bit towards the classic, kind of slightly vintagey side. Imagine those pyjamas on Christmas morning. Oh, so lovely. I mean, obviously that is very impractical, a little cape, but and nor would I be making any kind of like Native American Indian headdress, but you know, I just wouldn't do that. But anyway, I like the little animals. I like, yeah, this look, I made that one for Lila. That was so cute. So anyway, I just thought it was a good book. The sizing, don't think it's very big sizing. Let me get one of the size of this one, up to 3 years. What's on there? Yeah, 3 years. I think majority is up to 3 years. But like little masks and things, they would fit much longer. Anyway, so I used the pattern for the romper, and instead of putting on the shorts, I put on the skirt. So I used the pattern for this, which is like a little kind of dungaree top, I suppose, and then I just did the skirt. Did that for my sister, well, for her daughter. So, and then I just put some fun buttons on. That's it with the dress. And I was going to put 2 rows of buttons on the little strap, but then I thought, suck it up, Caroline, you're going to just need to move those buttons when she gets taller. If they're a wooden button or like a really simple button, I don't mind seeing 2 or 3, but with a statement button, I just don't think that you need to be having multiples up here. And when she got bigger and she'd have maybe 2 or 3 buttons, I think that would look so stupid. So she's just going to have to cut that button off and stitch it on, or go and ask her mother-in-law or somebody else. Anyway, it's elastic in the back, which is great. And I made it a bit bigger than it needed to be. So that's the first one I made for her. Then I used the same pattern to make an apron. And I just used the front bib of that pattern, but I just went lower on the armhole. Wonder if I can line them up for you to see. So yeah, so I literally cut that off. I just went lower, and the bottom edge is to the bottom of the pattern piece, so there's just this slice cut off so that it ends up in a point rather than ending up with an edge. So I just cut it off to that point. Anyway, that came out really, really nicely. First time I've ever used any decorative stitches, and they are really lovely, little kind of daisy things. Got a little tie on the neck, little tie on the back. I will not undo that right now because it took me a long time to to tie such a nice bow. And I just rounded off the edges of a rectangle, which was really easy. And then I had intended, I think I'd intended to do all the way gathering, but then as I was gathering it, I discovered that in order to get a nice gather, I'd cut it too short. So I literally just did those 2 sides. It's kind of over the hip, so just in those little front, on the front, that will be cute. So yeah, that is for Little Mia Rose, and then I made this years ago, and it's awful, but anyway, I wanted to show you. I made this dress for my sister. I must have been 18, that would make her 17, I think, or even 16 maybe. And then after I think a year, it was too small, so I whacked a panel in the back. It's so terrible. Anyway, it's just a little plain satin dress. You can see the massive panel in the back I just like whacked in. Happened to have the leftover fabric, and it was to here, and I have just added this like linen bottom, which doesn't look great on the screen, I'm going to be honest, but in person it looks really nice. And then I trimmed the edge with a little crochet trim, and I added that same trim to the neckline. But the quality of sewing in this garment, I mean, just to show you a little snippet, raw edge, pressed to one side, then I've pressed it open here. I mean, look at that top stitch in there. I remember making this on my domestic machine, and I remember like pulling it through. I'm properly pulling it through. I was going to take this apart and make a pattern without telling her and then send her another one in a similar colour and she was going to love it, and then I realised it is so badly made and it's made up of so many tiny little pieces that I'm not going to do that. So this is what she wanted and she's going to be really happy with it. And I think just that little bit of matte lace really ties in the matte of the linen, and I think it also makes it that little bit more like daytime rather than the satin is a little bit evening-y. So I think it just updates it to a day dress. And I like the two textures together, but on the screen they look really different, but you just have to take my word for it. They are like spot on in colour and they look really great in real life. So I just need to get that to the post office. Anyway, I just wanted to show you that before I send it off, because I'm going to send it off tomorrow and that is before December even started, and I was really keen to share with you. Oh my gosh, I just see one last thing. I bound the armholes using selvage. I used the selvage. And this dress is actually quite dirty. I don't think she's washed it before she's given it to me. No, I don't have time to wash it and dry it and press it before I send it to her. Satin's one of those things, it does show up any like little marks, doesn't it? Oh, that's 11 minutes of me chatting away. All right.